Hey, Andrew, it's nice to finally meet you.
Nice to put a face to the name, Mr. Johnson.
Yeah, go ahead and have a seat.
Thank you. Before we get started, is there anybody else you'd like to have here today before we get into the details?
I'm the president of this company, and I can really speak for all of our staff and all of our C-level members. So I don't think there's anybody else who needs to be in this meeting.
Okay, great. Well, here's my business card. I know we've talked. You have my number. It's got my name and information on it. And then here's just a brief agenda of the things that I wanted to talk about today. I know we only had a 20-minute appointment, and your time as the president of D.O.G is valuable. I'm a dog myself. Went to UGA, D.O.G. So I definitely like the name. And so I just talked to Bobby about a couple of things that I had here. These were some of the notes that I had on what we had talked about.
Okay.
Just some things that I wanted to go over with you today.
Sounds good.
So I know Bobby had just said that D.O.G is looking to do a total overhaul, a complete overhaul of the CRM and tracking systems that y'all have, and that y'all actually have multiple systems right now. And that those have been like some of the major issues for you as the president, and especially for Bobby because he's the the VP of sales. So before we talk about what he had to say about some of those issues, what is your experience with these problems?
So right now, like you said, we have an outdated system.
Right.
We also have multiple systems, which is never good because there's always bound to be problems with multiple systems. I think our first, really, in my opinion, our first big issue is client management. The way our sales team is entering orders is like using a version of Excel from 1985. It's very hard to use. It's very confusing. Each sales member across all the territories, they all have different ways they input the system. There's not a cohesive message. So it makes it very hard to keep track of cleaning schedules and when product needs to be where it needs to be and all of that sort of thing. So that's, I would say, my number one issue. Second thing is sales tracking. I know Bobby probably told you we don't really have a sales tracking and projection system right now.
Okay.
And so because of that, we're not really able to give our sales team the right incentives and the right praise for hitting their numbers.
Are you worried about losing those top salespeople?
Yeah. So that's something I was just about to get into actually. We have a really high turnover rate right now because of our top salespeople not getting the praise, like I said, that they deserve because we can't properly see what their sales numbers, what they're hitting on time.
Right.
And so they're leaving for bigger and better places, which is hurting us tremendously. Also, we're losing a lot of time because of some communication issues between our cleaning staff and our sales members. When our sales team makes new sales and it's entered into our system, our cleaning staff isn't given updates and messages about those new appointments and those new clients. So we're losing out on a lot of clients that way.
Absolutely. These are definitely concerns that we see a lot, and I've helped numerous clients. I've been with Salesforce for a year and a half now, 6 months in the Atlanta area, and I've got 43 clients. So I'm able to stay, pretty personal, and I'm able to go around at least every once in a while to check on people and see how it's going.
Now, I don't want to interrupt you, but you said 43 clients. It's a substantial amount of clients. Do you think you're going to have enough time if we do go with you guys to make sure we get the attention that we deserve?
Yeah, absolutely. That's definitely a concern that I can understand, and I can assure you that with 43 clients, one of the best things that I've been able to focus on and hone as an ability over the years is just being able to focus on who's in front of me, and having a team, a highly skilled team of people that can train, people that can fulfill orders underneath me allows me to take care of the issues and address the relationship that I have with my clients. So that really frees me up to have the face-to-face time like we have right now.
Well, that sounds great.
Okay, great. I just want to make sure you feel good about that before we move on. And then I know some of your concerns, you just addressed client management. And I got some of these facts from Bobby. So some of these stats, are numbers that he had given me, rough estimates, and I've tried to be pretty conservative. So just stop me along the way if there's anywhere that the numbers maybe look off or inflated or underinflated. Okay, so first is the client management, and I know you had $48.6 million in revenue last year with 3.5% growth. It's always good to see a growing business, and I'd just like to congratulate you on
appreciate that
success.
Thank you.
So that's definitely something to be proud of. And if you take that $48.6 million, which is quite a sum of money, and you divide your total annual revenue by your 286 clients that you have right now, each client is roughly about this, $170,000. So, each client's, a big deal. You definitely have larger end clients for the maintenance industry and for the cleaning industry. And so those clients are important, and it's important to maintain those clients and not have that turnover. One of the things that I had discussed with Bobby, and he had sent me some contact information. I actually reached out to some salespeople. Out of your Nashville office, one of the salespeople I talked to was Jeremy, and he had actually said that the client turnover for him and in his office, I know that's only 5 people in that office for the sales staff, but he said it's roughly 20%. Would you agree with that?
I mean, that seems about right. I hate to admit it, but we do across the board, not just in the Nashville office. I would say on average throughout our whole territory, all 4 territories, we have about a 20% turnover rate.
Okay, yeah. So, working with that 20% number, even if we're just being extremely conservative, because I want to make sure that this is going to be the right decision for you guys. If we just cut that number in half, if you take the 29 clients per year, it would be double that if you assume 20%. So let's just assume 10% for the sake of conservative. And let's say 29 clients per year. If each one of those clients is worth that $170,000 we discussed, you're coming at roughly $5 million in revenue that you're losing because of lost clients per year. So that's definitely something that I would, have concern as a president. Would you agree that maybe you're concerned about losing that $5 million in lost revenue?
Anytime I hear a number that big, I have to wonder what's going on.
Yeah.
What are we doing wrong?
Okay, great. Well, I'd love to, see where the issues are just so that we can solve them, and that's definitely something that I would like to address later on when we talk about some of the issues and how we can solve them with the sales force. So the next thing that you talked about, was the employee tracking system and not being able to maintain those top employees and top workhorses that you have in your sales department. So I know, as an experienced salesperson myself, if you have those opportunities as a salesperson, those skills are highly sought after by multiple companies. So it's hard to keep those people on, and that's a problem that we have. A lot of our clients have with their sales force is just being able to maintain that high level of sales. So I know you said one of the things that your current CRM does right now is you have to actually enter it into multiple places. So freeing up that time for those salespeople might actually release some of the stress that they have, might allow you to keep that sales staff. I know a lot of the top people at Salesforce, a lot of the top earners are going so fast and are so busy that they only have time to enter it in one place. If you have to enter it more than one place, that's just busy work, and you don't need to be doing that.
Yeah, I think that can help us a lot if we only had one place to enter all this data instead of multiple different systems and all of that sort of thing. It'd just be so much easier to see, so much easier to input. It would just help save time and really just reduce stress.
Absolutely, yeah. And so if we take that, 30% that Bobby had said annually just within the sales department, the employee turnover rate, he said was about 30%. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, it seems about right.
Okay. So just conservatively, if we take the $48.6 million a year, I know you have 25 salespeople. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's
okay.
Correct.
So each one of those salespeople, and I know you have top earners and lower earners, but if we average it out, each one's about $1.9 million a year per annum. Okay. So those salespeople are important to you, and you have a lot of revenue flowing through them. And it's important to keep that relationship with your clients. They want to be able to see the same salesperson, stay with the company. That's important for sure. Not even taking that into account, though, trying to quantify the amount, just part of the amount that you're losing because of that turnover in your employees and your staff. If you just look at the training costs, so let's say if you have 30% annual turnover in your employees, that's about 8 out of your 25 salespeople, you have to rehire every year.
Mhm.
So if, Bobby said it costs about $30,000, and that's just the time that it takes to train them. That's not including the time that it takes to be as proficient as the last person that was in their shoes and in their job, because it is hard to replace those top salespeople. So just the training cost for each employee, Bobby said, was about $30,000. And if you take that 8 employees and multiply it by $30,000, that's $250,000 right there. In addition to that $5 million that we had up here, so definitely adds up quickly, doesn't it?
It definitely adds up. I mean, that's already compared to even our $48.6 million in revenue last year. $6 million is still that. I mean, can help us a lot.
Absolutely, and that's not even the end of it. Another thing that I was thinking about, just after I talked to Bobby and we had talked in the emails, one of the things that you had mentioned was losing time to, having to order enter multiple orders in multiple places, and just Bobby had said an example of, maybe they lose an hour out of every 8-hour workday. Was about what he guessed at that Georgia-Florida game that we were at. So even if you take that estimate and you say about maybe 10% lost time, which is even less than an hour out of 8, if each one of those salespeople is responsible for almost $2 million in revenue, and you just take 10% of that and multiply it by your 25 salespeople, like I have worked out here, that's another $4.75 million a year that you're losing out.
Holy cow!
Yeah. So it definitely, like I said, it does add up quickly, and sometimes it's painful to see those numbers, but it is definitely something to take into consideration. I definitely want you to be able to continue that 3.5% growth per year.
Yeah.
I definitely want you to be able to maintain, upwards of $50 million in revenue per year, and keep growing.
Well, if a new system can help us recapture this almost $11 million in missing revenues, I'm all ears.
Okay, yeah. Before I move over to your side of the table, is there anything else that you wanted to clear up?
Actually, was just about to ask you about a price. I know we don't have much time. My time is really valuable. I don't know if the whole demonstration thing is all that necessary. Could you give me a price?
Yeah, I definitely know price is important, and I want to get you an accurate answer. I don't want to give you any wrong answers prematurely. And just to be able to get that, I really have to know what you need as a client.
Okay.
So if it's okay with you, I'd like to get a couple more pieces of information from you, and then I definitely think I'll be able to give you an accurate price.
Okay, that seems fair.
Okay, yeah, and I promise we'll get to it by the end.
I'll hold you to it.
Absolutely. And so is it okay if I just come over and demonstrate the product?
Yeah, come over.
Awesome. So I've got Salesforce on this computer right here. One of our clients is actually a mobile car wash company. I figured that would be a good example because, same kind of operation. You're going to your clients and, performing service for them. So that was the best kind of order entry parallel that I could find here. And you can go ahead and log in using your work username and password. Set it up for you here. Okay. And then as you can see, we've got all kinds of different tabs here. I know you had talked about the order entry being a problem, and that's something that you can see if you click on this accounts tab.
Okay.
It drops down, and you can see all the accounts that Swifty Car Wash has. So right here, it's got their address, and you can click on it, and that pulls up their telephone number and mailing address and when. So you can totally customize that. This is just what they have set up, but you can put in for your business. You put in the address of the building, maybe what floors or what offices to clean, maybe who the cleaning staff would be, things like that. You could totally customize that under the accounts tab that we have right here. Another thing I know you had talked about was the lack of communication between the departments.
Mm-hmm.
This chatter tab, if you want to go ahead and click on that right there, helps. It's basically an IM between the departments. So you can also link it to like one of these accounts here. So if you click on this one, you can see, like for example, Michael Gill is attached to this one. So anytime that you post anything to his client that he's attached to, it'll pop up on his inbox and show a notification right there.
Yeah, I think that would help us a lot because right now there's a lot of issues, communication issues between our departments, and I think that right there can help solve a lot of that.
Absolutely. That's one of the biggest things that we see our clients, room for improvement is just being able to see updates. So anytime this client gets updated, anybody that's attached to it will be able to see.
So I see a lot of stuff here. It just seems like a lot of new things for my employees to learn. What do you think the learning curve is? Like, how long will it take for my staff to really learn the system? And because it just sounds like a lot of money right now.
Okay, yeah. So training is definitely a big concern. Our system is very familiar and draws on a lot of other CRMs and from Excel. It's kind of a collaboration, and that's really what the designers were shooting for, an easy-to-use software that would be intuitive and like Excel, like you can see the tabs and things here. But most importantly, with that setup cost, would include, 2 out of the first 3 weeks would be we would have people in the office with your sales staff teaching them how to use the program, and optional classes if you would like that is included in the setup cost. And I know you were asking about how long it takes for them to normally learn. About after 1 month, like I said, the first 2 weeks are training, and then after about a week of it after training, just working on it with on their own. People are pretty proficient and able to use our Salesforce program.
Seems like a reasonable time.
So all of that is included. And another thing that we have is our 1-800 number is always going to be here. We have a support center that 24 hours is on staff. So anytime any of your salespeople after that first 2 weeks have any kind of questions and we don't have somebody in the office, you can call and get somebody on the phone 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And then even if, maybe a quicker fix, just like a small problem, you can click on this help tab right here. And that's, just an in-app kind of thing where it shows you, and you can type in keywords and search for different errors that you might have. Some, frequently asked questions are answered there. So there's those 3 ways. We've got, people in your actual sales departments working with your salespeople, teaching them how to use the product. We've got the help tab that you can see right here, and then we've also got the help tab, and we've also got those first 2 weeks we've got people in the office with you training. And then another thing I wanted to talk about was you discussed sales people. That was one of the biggest issues for you, maintaining those top sales performers. So with this, as a president, you might be familiar with this, but you can actually click on this page over here. This is your personal homepage as the president of Duluth Operating Group, and you can actually see all of your salespeople broken down in a pie chart right here. However you'd like to see it, the data can be customized, and you can actually see how many sales per month. And
that's great. I think that can really help us keep on track to who we give praise to, who's hitting their numbers, and so we can see who our top earners are, who our bottom earners are, and I think that would really help maintain and to retain those top earners.
Absolutely. And just like I know you had said earlier, having all that information in one place is key. All of this is cohesive, and you just have to enter it once, and it shows up, like I said, in other places on the software. So just, all of this said, I know, we've thrown a lot at you today, and we're drinking from the fire hose trying to see the solutions and the problems here. But how do you feel about what we've already talked about?
I think it all looks good. It seems like instead of having multiple systems and having to go back and forth, your system seems all-inclusive and really would, I think we could benefit from using this platform.
Okay, great. I definitely think you could too. And just with some of the numbers we've run through so far, I know we've got our math on this page, so I've got the totals down here. This is roughly what it would cost for all of your employees, which is what I strongly recommend for the full interdepartmental collaboration. It would be just under $150,000 for the first year, and that would include the installation fee and the setup and people coming into your offices to train. So we're looking at roughly $150,000 for the first year, and then against that $10 million that we've already added up. So
yeah, I would, any time of day take the $200,000 bet if there's a possibility I make $10 million. So.
Yeah, I definitely say that's a pretty good investment.
Yeah.
So just given what we've discussed so far, do you have any further questions or anything that you'd like to clear up?
No, I think you've answered pretty much any question or concern I've had. The system looks really good. you seem like a really good person and really good. Like you give me a lot of attention, or the company a lot of attention, which is great. So it all looks good.
Okay, great. So, given that $10 million in lost revenue annually and just a $150,000 price tag, would you maybe be willing to make some moves today and get the ball rolling?
You know what? Yeah, I definitely want to do this. I want to get on the Salesforce team.
Great. Sandy, if you just sign right here on the dotted line.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Thank you, Mr. Johnson. It's been a pleasure doing business with D.O.G.
Yeah, appreciate it. You have a good day.
You too.